Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to my debate of the week. This is about the WWE card. They're in trouble. I may use that as my title. When you look at the WWE Championship, you look at the World Championship, this is what you got. You have the main event title, and you have the mid-card title. I know people would say, hey, the World Championship is the main event title too. No, it's not. Because here's the problem. The main event title is easily defined. That is the WWE Championship. But for anyone to even have an idea of who you really are, you have to win the world title, which is the mid-card title. When it comes to the IC and US Championship, they're in the undercard. Which actually, this is the thing. Where the IC Championship is, should be the mid-card. The World Championship should also be the main event title. It should be. But because of how they structured the mid-card and undercard, it's blurred. It's like looking at black and white. When you bring them together, you get gray. When you see gray, you can't tell what's what. The blurring of the lines of the mid-card and undercard gives you an undercard in a sense. And that is where the IC Championship has been for at least 5 years. At least 5 years. I'm saying at least 5 years just as a basics. But it doesn't mean it really is. It's probably a little longer than that. The Intercontinental Championship has not been relevant since about 2001 or 2002. Ever since they took in WCW, the mid-card title has been the world title. It's just never been stated. But because they had good feuds back then in the Attitude Era, they had good construction of performers. In other words, wrestlers were built very well. You couldn't tell the difference. So then they pushed the IC Championship all the way down into the undercard. But here's the problem. Now that I hate the name of unification, the unified title, the unified championship, are you kidding me? Call it the Undisputed WWE Championship. Bury WCW. And I like WCW as much as I could see it. But WCW has taken a new form of TNA. Let them have their TNA World Championship, or as it was called at one point, the National Wrestling Alliance World Heavyweight Title back in the 2004, 2005 on TNA. Let them have the world title name because we have no need for it anymore. But you have to see it as I'm seeing it right now. Now, I'm hoping you would agree if you see it as I see it. If you don't, I understand, and I want to hear your opinion about this. Because when it comes down to it, we need to understand what's about to happen. And here's what's about to happen. Once the world title goes away, and they will have both titles out for a couple of months at least, before they call it only one title, and it will be the WWE World Championship. I mean, not World Championship. WWE Champion. It's going to happen. Sorry. But now you're going to have to bring the IC title out of the undercard. And to be honest, when you bring it out, you're going to have to figure out what's the mid-card. For many years, they keep saying the IC Championship's a mid-card title. But we know it's been in the undercard. But here's the problem. Two problems. Character development for people, which also covers feuds, and actual positions. The WWE don't want to show anyone positions. In other words, they don't want to show who's supposed to be in the mid-card, who's supposed to be in the undercard. It's blurred. That's the reason why I said the IC Championship is in the undercard. To be honest, you can't even tell where the IC Championship and the US Championship is supposed to be split because you see everyone going after the same titles. To make it work, you have to have tiers. Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3. The people in the US Championship need to be easily defined. The IC Championship needs to be easily defined. Damien Sandow is easily a mid-card wrestler right now. Biggie Langston, even though he's getting great traction, he's supposed to be an undercarder. So the person that should be getting the mid-card title should be Damien Sandow. The one that should be getting the undercard title should be a Biggie Langston. They stay in those positions and try to get cred through the fans. And hopefully, through pay-per-views, through being seen on television, they get enough credit that they can drop those titles to someone and then move on to the next tier. Damien Sandow should have already been in the IC championship position already for at least a few months at least, or near a year. Drop it to someone if he's done very well, and then move into the main event title scene. But we haven't seen that. Biggie Langston, who just came on the scene, who's been doing pretty well, he should have already gotten the IC champion, not the IC, the US championship. You see, I'm getting confused because, like I said, the lines are blurred. You can't tell what's what anymore. You can't tell who definitely is in the undercard, who's definitely in the mid-card, who's definitely in the main event. They keep switching them so much. You can't tell. And you only keep a couple of people in each one. Kofi Kingston and pretty much Dolph Ziggler have been stuck in supposed mid-card hell for 5 years at least. Kofi had one shot in going into the main event scene, and we already know what happened with Randy Orton. He fucked that up. So Kofi's still stuck in the same spot. But the point is, at least you know that Kofi's in the mid-card. You know Dolph Ziggler had won the World Championship twice, but didn't last more than a few months, at least for one title run, and the other one was a few days to a week. But he's obviously stuck in mid-card hell. It doesn't matter if he deserves to be in the main title. It doesn't matter if he could do it or not. The point is, at least you know that he's in mid-card. The Miz, who's jumped from mid-card to main event, back to mid-card, and now the way they're treating him, he's like undercard. But the problem is, it doesn't matter. We see him in the undercard, thrown up and down when they need him. You can see my problem here. I just spoke about how many people. And here's the thing. We don't know what's going on with everything else. Justin Gabriel, where does he belong? Does he belong in mid-card? Does he belong in the undercard? Tyson Kidd, who just came back, does he belong in the mid-card? Does he belong in the undercard? What about Yoshitatsu, who we don't even see on TV? He would be great in the undercard, sometimes being thrown to the mid-card, but we don't see him. So you don't even know where he belongs. Dean Ambrose, who is currently the US champion, he's the mid-card, not the mid-card. You see what I mean? It's so hard not to get them confused. He's the US champion. He's supposed to be the undercard champion. When was the last time you saw him defend his title against more than one person within 6 months? You haven't. He doesn't go from one challenge to another like a real champion's supposed to. He's supposed to have maybe once every 2 or 3 months a challenger to fight for that title. We haven't seen shit, maybe once. And I know it's like once a month or something. But you know what? It doesn't feel like it. Because I can't even tell anymore if it's the mid-card or it's the undercard title. It's just blurred. Now, I understand Triple H is now the head of creative. But I believe this is the wrong direction they're going in. They really need to define what's going on with the IC and US championships before they take away the World Championship, which is obviously the mid-card title. It is. As I said earlier, we didn't notice it back in 2001, 2002, 2005 because they had compelling storylines. They made sure people you could tell is in the world title scene is in the world title scene. You can see about 5 or 6 people that are usually in the world title scene. You can tell who's there. But right now, you can't tell nobody. Sheamus, who's been gone for months now, when he comes back, he'll go directly into world title scene. He won't go, well, directly in the main event, not the world title. I'm sorry, they ain't going to be anymore. But you get my point. Sheamus, he's got a choice. He can either be WWE Undisputed Champion, or he can be IC Champ. They're not going to let him go and be IC Champ. He was already an IC Champ. I believe he was already a US Champ as well. I can't remember anymore. But the point, no, I think he wasn't an IC Champ. He was a US Champ. But you get my point. They're not going to throw him down to those two. He's got to be up there. And how many people below are we going to know who's where? And this is what I see for the WWE going into 2014. Once the titles have been unified, I do not believe they're going to define the IC and US Championship divisions. They're not going to make sure you can tell who's in the IC Championship place, who is in the US Championship place. In other words, whoever's there, if Damian wins and you get Dean, who's still champion in the US Championship, and you get the IC Championship, do you have any idea who's going to be challenging them? Unless they tell you right before they do a number one contenders match, you're not going to. Because you're not going to see a whole bunch of people going after those titles. You're not. Once in a while they'll throw somebody at it. And that's it. No feud properly, unless they actually do it. I do not see the ratings work. I believe that they'll have a little bump because they unified the titles. After 3 months, crash. Because they have nothing to find. Unless they do, which I will easily eat crow. I'll be glad to eat it. I'll be glad if I'm wrong. If they redefine those titles and redefine those pieces of the card, I'll be fine with it. But if they don't, they're going to have to see within a year that they have to bring back the the World Championship and the WWE Championship. They got to split them off again because they have nothing to work with. Because everything's a mess, because they don't define the card, and they don't give anybody good storylines to work with. That's my feeling about it, and this is my debate of the week. And I hope you enjoyed the Zane's View. Subscribe and comment to my channel. Give me an idea what you believe will happen to the IC and US Championship. It is very important to know this because we're going to be stuck with this until they realize either to fix the US Championship division, fix the IC Championship division, give those people mid-card feuds, give these people undercard feuds, and we'll be happy. If they don't, we're going to be mad. Have a good day.